Now let's look at some of the important properties exhibited by continuous functions. When we discuss, let's first observe one important term that we come across in solving quite a good number of problems, that is continuous everywhere. Now what do we exactly mean by a function is continuous everywhere? Right, it's a pure English terminology only. Say if our function y equal to f of x has a domain d of f, right? The function is defined on a domain which is df. Then if y equal to f of x is continuous on the complete domain, that is at every point in the domain, if the function y equal to f of x exhibits continuity, then we'll say that the function y equal to f of x is continuous everywhere. So you understand what do we mean by continuous everywhere? It should be continuous everywhere on the corresponding domain of definition of the given function. So if you consider simply y equal to mod x. Now can you tell me what is domain of this function? Yes, domain of the function is complete set of real numbers, and on entire R, that is at every real value, the function y equal to mod x is continuous, isn't it? So shall we say y equal to mod x is continuous on the set of real numbers, but the set of real numbers itself is the set of domain of the function, right? So when the function is continuous on R, which is same as the complete domain of the function, then shall we say mod x is a function which is continuous everywhere? Yes, because it is defined at entire real numbers, and throughout the defined domain the function exhibits continuous character. That's why we say the function mod x is continuous everywhere. Now same way you can also treat some more examples as say y equal to sin x. Y equal to sin x when defined on set of real numbers is continuous everywhere, isn't it? Yes, because sin x is continuous on complete real numbers, which is clear property from the graph of the function, and real numbers is a complete set of domain. Therefore, on throughout the domain, the function sin x is continuous. Therefore, we say the function is continuous everywhere. Now let's look at another important observation for continuous functions, that is something called a pointwise defined functions. Now what can we say about the continuity of such functions? To understand this idea better, let's consider this example first. Let us take f of x as y as step x, and the domain of the function is, and the function f is defined from set of natural numbers to set of natural numbers. Now if you observe the graph of this function, how will be the graph of y equal to step x when the function is defined from set of natural numbers to set of natural numbers, right? At 1, the functional value will also be 1, isn't it? At 2, when x is 2, even the functional value is also 2. Similarly, at 3, the functional value is also 3, right? So how will be the graph of this function? It will be a collection of all these points on the plane. Now, what do you think about the continuity of such a pointwise defined function? I'm sure you might be thinking directly from the graphical appearance, there is jump from 1 to 2, from 2 to 3, therefore you will be jumping to a conclusion called maybe this is a discontinuous function, right? And when you are thinking analytically also, say when you wanted to discuss the continuity at a point 2, we might be having a wrong notion. By following the definition of continuity, we are expected to take the left hand tendency of the function at 2 and the right hand tendency of the function at 2. But because the domain is only from n to n, we cannot discuss about the tendency of the functional values to the left of 2 and to the right of 2, isn't it? Therefore, you might be thinking that this function should be clearly discontinuous, but by definition, if you look at, the function is defined only from n to n, and that's why the graph is only a pointwise defined function. And such a function which is pointwise defined is always a continuous function. Every pointwise defined function is a continuous function. There, it satisfies the condition key f of a must be equal to a, that's all, where a is a set of natural number then for every a in the set of natural numbers, functional value will be equal to the tendency value, which is also same as a. Therefore, every point-wise defined function must be treated as a continuous function. But we should not look at the terms like the left-hand tendency and right-hand tendency, or similarly from the graph. So be careful while handling a point-wise defined functions. Okay, let's proceed to the other properties. Now, continuing with these properties, let's now talk about the continuity of a composite function. Now, how does a composite function behave in terms of continuity? First, just for a recollection, do you remember what is a composite function? Composite function is f circle g of x or g circle f of x. Remember these two functions? Yes, I am talking about the continuity of such functions. Now for this, what are the requirements? Let's observe. Say f of x is continuous at x equal to a, and second condition is the second function g of x is continuous at x equal to f of a. Now what happened? F of x is continuous at x equal to a, g of x is continuous at f of a, then g circle f of x is continuous at x equal to a. Now if you observe this, the inner function f is continuous at x equal to a. Then the outer function g must be continuous at where the composition is taking place, at x equal to f of a. Then this composite function g circle f will also be continuous. So if you extend this to two composite functions which are possible, g circle f is continuous, which we learned, provided f is continuous at x equal to a and g is continuous at x equal to f of a. Now what happens if I extend the same definition to f circle g of x? Both need not be individually continuous, but g must be continuous at x equal to a and our f must be continuous at x equal to g of a. Then f circle g of x would be continuous. So as a simple rule, the inner function should be continuous at the point and the outer function must be continuous at the inner function's value at that point. Then the composite function would be continuous, right? We'll do some problems when we come across this. Now let's see another important observation. Now this fourth property, I would say this is a very important application when it comes to application of derivatives. So there is a lot that we'll be doing with this property when we go further into the study of calculus, that is particularly differential calculus. But at this point, I'm only taking the property and trying to understand the property at this level, right? We'll go much deeper in the advanced studies. Now what this property says is, observe it very carefully. If f of x is continuous on a closed interval ab, now this is very important. It's continuous and it should be continuous on closed interval ab. Then f of x is bounded. Now maybe you'll be coming across this word bounded when you are doing some topic called maximum and minimum of the functions. Now for the understanding, what I mean by bounded is the function f of x should have a maximum value and should also have a minimum value. Both should exist. Then such a function is called bounded. Obviously, right? When a function has both maximum and minimum, the function is completely bounded between the maximum and the minimum. That's why we call such a function as a bounded function. Now let's try to understand this property from graphical point of view, not much deeper into. Now on the domain, say from a to b, the function has to move from a comma f of a to a point b comma f of b. The function is including this point and the function is also including this point. Now the most important thing is the function is continuous. That means the graph of this function from a comma f of a to b comma f of b must be drawn without lifting the pen, right? Now what are the different possibilities that I can draw? Maybe the graph is like this. If you observe this graph, at any point between A and B, can the graph go to infinity? Think. Between A and B, can the graph anywhere go to infinity? No. Why? If it goes to infinity at a point, then at that point where the graph goes to infinity, I have to lift the pen. That means continuity is affected. So to maintain continuity, the graph must be non-infinite value between A and B, because it has to maintain continuity. So what happens now? Between A and B, there should be a point where the graph has the highest point, and from there onwards it has to start coming down. And there is a point where the graph has the minimum value. So if you look at this graph particularly, and if I draw a line like this, and at the maximum, and at this point x equal to b, and at this point x equal to a, then the entire graph is bounded between these four lines, isn't it? That's why this function has a maximum at this point and has a minimum at this point. If a function is continuous, then the function must be bounded if the function is continuous on a closed interval. Now observe this graph carefully. The function cannot maintain continuity on a closed interval AB, then it becomes unbounded. But if it has to maintain continuity on the closed interval AB, then the function has to be bounded in the interval, right? Now this is a very important property when we are doing maximum and minimum of the functions. But at this point, we are doing this only to understand what is the basic idea behind this, right?